Welcome to Unstoppable, where dreams turn into plans and plans turn into powerful action. Hosted by Paula Swain, financial planner, business owner, grandma, and queen of reinvention. This show is for women ready to stop surviving and start thriving. We'll laugh, we'll learn, and we'll tackle the messy, beautiful, in-between parts of life that no one really talks about, but we all live through. This is Unstoppable.
Hello and welcome back to Unstoppable. I am the guest host for today's episode, Kendra Corman, and I am really excited to be interviewing our regular host for the show, Paula Swain, who is joining me today to talk about New Year's resolutions and really just heading into the new year. So this is the last episode of 2025, and I cannot believe that we're saying that it's 2026.
Not yet.
But it is pretty much, it's almost 2026. You might be watching this in 2026 as we are getting ready to start fresh and start anew with a new year. I love the new year because it just gives us time where we can say, okay, let's just start over. Because sometimes it's like, all right, let's just sweep whatever that was, away. And it's a great opportunity to become better versions of ourselves through resolutions that I think most resolutions don't make it past February 15th or something like that.
Or January 2nd.
Or plenty of mine have not made it past January 2nd.
Or even January 1st if you've had too much to drink and go, I'm not doing that.
Exactly. So let's talk about setting resolutions or goals or having a vision or word of the year or any of those things and why you do that, what you have planned, and I'll share a little bit about maybe some of my ideas and we'll go from there.
Ideas for me or your ideas for yourself?
My ideas for me.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you have
Everybody's
ideas
dying
for me.
to know.
I'm sure you have ideas for me too. So first of all, I hate the word resolution.
Okay, good. Why?
Because nobody ever holds them. Not nobody, but a lot of people don't because life happens and they don't make it a priority. And you don't have to wait for the new year to start over. You can start over any day. A lot of people attempt it on the new year because they look back at what happened in the previous year and they'll be like, well, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And you know what, who cares? Doesn't matter. Just let all that stuff go and focus on what you're going to do. So I am always constantly working on my goals and stuff. So the new year for me isn't really anything different other than January 1st because I have my goals all over the place and I know exactly where I am all the time and how I'm going to get there.
So let's talk about your goals. How do you set them? How are you picking them? How many do you have?
Any changes any day of the week. I don't have so for me and what we do with my clients, actually when they come to meet me, I give them a Post-it notes and say, okay, part of your homework for me is to write out your goals or your dreams on these Post-it notes. And you can put them anywhere you want in the house, like on your fridge, on the wall, wherever you want so that you'll see them. And I make them stretch. 20 is easy, right? We'll try to get to 100. Try to get to 100. So now you're really stretching on what it is that you'd like to see in your life. And yeah, some of them are going to be, you're going to go back and go, what was I thinking? But that would really, really cool. But what was I thinking? That's, may or may never happen. But when I get that all done, or I have my clients do that, then you start to weed it out. What is it that really, really matters to you? And so I have goals. I can tell you what they are right now, but I have them.
Okay.
So
share one of them with us.
You want to know what they are?
I do. I at least want to know one.
So for next year, my goal is to travel to Spain, Portugal, and the Azores. I want to spend 3 weeks, and there I can never say the name right, but it's the pilgrimage, the Camino
Santiago.
Yes.
Okay. Camino Santiago. Santiago walk.
Yeah, and I want to do that. So I am working on planning that, and I hope to go in the latter part of September, October. I am looking for a travel buddy just for that part. I don't mind solo vacations, but for the journey, I know it's good to do that journey on your own, but walking 60 miles or 100 miles, whichever journey I decide to do, alone, not that it's scary to me, it's just a woman walking alone. That's a little scary. So I'm opening the door to visualizing that somebody's going to come walk that journey with me.
Very cool. Okay, so let's talk about how do you, when you have these goals, and you said you're on top of them, where do you have them? What do you see them on a regular basis? Do you review them on a regular basis?
In the morning, lots of times I'll be like, kind of thinking about things that I want to accomplish. I do that in the morning, and they are on Post-it notes. And in my office, my home office, I actually had some in my laundry room, but I had my laundry room redone, so I never put it back up. But they are in my office. What I do is I don't put them on the wall because they don't stick. Let's be honest.
There are some good ones that do stick.
Really?
Yes. I'll have to give you a pack of those.
Okay. I stick them on poster boards. And then I kind of break them out into different categories like home, health, adventure, love. I even have a love goals. And it isn't just about finding my person, but it's what I want to do with my kids and my grandkids and friends and all those things. So I have all those different goals, and then business goals, of course. And I just have them where I can see them. Lots of times I review them before I go to bed because it's really good to look at your day, remember your joy, remember where you're going for. So you take all that negative crap that's coming out of your head and don't even think about it before you go to sleep. Tell you if you do that, you'll wake up every day just feeling amazing because you got to bed happy and you wake up happy.
Very cool. Now you talked about visualizing. What does that mean to you?
Visualizing? Well, I could be doing it right now. You don't even know it. And I actually was, because when we were talking about that, I was thinking of some of the things on my board and visualizing that they were happening. So when I visualize something, I actually act like it's happened, that I feel that emotion or of what that experience will bring to me, or having that goal achieved, how I'm going to feel about that. Because you can have a goal or a dream, but unless you really see yourself achieving it and can feel in your core that that's going to happen, it's not likely. It's just a wish. So I envision all the time how these things are going to look, and not like, okay, let's go with Prince Charming, right? Which, first of all, I don't want Prince Charming. I just take normal Charming. But anyway, what that relationship is going to look like. How is that going to feel? And I feel it within my body. I know it's probably, I'm probably going, oh, she's crazy. But I feel it within my body. Like I can feel that holding my hand. I can feel the hug. And that's the things that I think make your dreams come true. Like when I bought my lake house, I printed one and put it on the wall, and then I would just sit there and close my eyes and go, yeah, I'm sitting on the patio, I'm having a glass of wine or something, just looking out at the water, or look at the sun rising, I'm visualizing the kids and the grandkids and before you know it, it was there because I felt like I already had it. And whenever I talked about it, I would talk about already having it. Like if you just said something random, yeah, well, I have a lake house. And you'd be like, what? No, you don't. But I did. In my heart and in my head, I had that lake house. And here it came.
That's awesome. I've heard that so many times from so many people that when they behave like that thing has already happened, it does.
It does happen.
Right?
Because the universe doesn't know. But if you tell the universe this isn't going to happen, guess what? It's not going to happen. It can't tell the difference between something that's positive for you or something that's negative for you. So you just believe that it's going to happen and you act like you have it. I know that may sound crazy, but
It's only a little woo-woo.
well, you know me, I'm full of woo-woo. Just ask me. I wrote a whole book on woo-woo. So I just don't know how to explain it. And I try to tell people, and I'm like, I don't know how to explain it correctly. I just know that if you do it, if you truly, truly do it, it works.
So the way I like to explain it is the way I read it in the book, The Secret. I'm sure you've read The Secret. So The Secret, there was an example of a woman in there who wanted to get married. But what she did is she looked around her house and she parked in the middle of the garage. The closet was full, right? And she slept in the middle of the bed. There was no room in her life, the way she was living it, for a partner in there. And so she ended up parking on one side of the garage. She emptied out half of her closet so that there was room. I think they overestimated. I think she probably just did 3/4 or a quarter of that and kept 3/4. But she made room in her closet. She started sleeping on one side of the bed. She made room. And then I can't remember how long later, but yeah, she had her dream partner and dating, and they got married because she made room in her life and she acted as if she had it. Because before that, she was sending out signals to the world, right? And to the universe, to God, whatever it is.
I'm of lack.
I don't have room.
Yeah. Well, not that. I lack too. Like that's the hardest thing is that, and I think, and I don't want this to be a subject on dating, but I think a lot of us that are dating men or women is that we don't see hope. We see lack, that there isn't somebody in our life, so it's lonely. At the time we're recording this, which is, I don't, but I know he's coming, and I act like I already have him. So, and my closet is 3/4 of the way cleaned out.
That's good.
And I park with plenty of room in the driveway for him. And I do sleep on well, it depends on what side you're facing, one side of the bed.
Very good. I always have to sleep closest to the door. I don't know what it is. Doesn't matter which side of the bed it is, but I have to sleep closest to the door.
I sleep closest to the door when I'm not sleeping with someone. If there's someone in my bed, I sleep on the other side, letting them sleep closest to the door.
Interesting.
Probably a protection thing.
Very cool. So on that same note of visualization, right, and living like you have things and understanding it and believing it, do you do a vision board?
I have in the past. Done vision boards. I actually do have one. It's not hanging out because I had some construction done and I haven't put it back up. I find my Post-it notes work well, and then I can pull them off as I do it. But I've done all kinds of different things. It just depends on, I felt really broken after my divorce, and for me, I did a lot of woohoo stuff to heal myself, and through that, I come up with different things, and I do a vision board, but then I find my visions often change. Like there was a vision I had of adding a second floor. No, get this one, a second floor to my ranch home, so I could have a bathtub, because my house doesn't have a bathtub. So I was like, visualizing me having this bathtub, sitting out in the bath, relaxing in the bathtub, and then I'm like, I call architect, I'm going to make this happen. I gotta, I know it. And then I got to, actually was talking with a friend, and he asked me a month or so after I was doing all this stuff, he goes, are you still building your $200,000 bathtub? And I'm like, no, that was a nice vision, but for $200,000, no, I think I'll pass on that one. Maybe I'll get a hot tub or something. But yeah, so I had built it all out, this vision of having this, but realistically, financially would have made sense to just sell the house and go buy a house with a bathtub than to add on a $200,000 addition, if not more, for a bathtub.
So I love that you use Post-its because I love office supplies and I'm addicted to them.
I like office supplies too.
I think everybody, at least most of the women I know, we love office supplies.
Even
different
if you don't even
pens
use them.
Yeah, they're just fun. They're fun to get. That's why Staples is a dangerous store to go in. That's why it's so much better on Amazon because you don't necessarily browse quite as much. But with these Post-it notes, you're looking at them regularly. Is it one per? Do you save the ones that you've done and you've achieved? Or do you throw them out and say, we're moving on?
I throw them out. I throw them out because they get replaced with something else. So I go through all the time and I pull out what doesn't resonate with me anymore or I've accomplished it and I might add something new. It's an ongoing process.
Very cool. I think it's so important that you treat this as an ongoing process and not like a New Year's thing, right? It's not some point in time. I use a full focus planner. I should say hashtag not sponsored, but I love my planner. I love writing.
What the heck was that hashtag not sponsored? What the heck does that
Because people
mean?
do all the sponsor stuff and it's like, we're not sponsored by Full Focus Planner.
I don't even know what that is.
So it's my planner. It's a quarterly planner. You put your goals in the front. You have time to look at them. There's personal goals, habit goals, business goals. All of it goes in there. But it starts and it's every quarter. And there's actually a video online about, I was like, oh, well, when do you start your planner? Because it starts on Monday. And it's supposed to be the first Monday of the quarter. And I was like, oh, I bought it and it wasn't the first Monday of the quarter, clearly.
So you waited?
No. So I was like, well, when do you start it? So this guy had this YouTube video where he got out a calendar and he started talking about how you picked the day. And it was like, you can only start on the third Sunday of an even month. And it was this whole drawn out thing. It basically was like, no, just, you got it open it up and start. Right? Just get it started.
Well, that's like with anything, any goal that you have. When you, let's say you woke up this morning and you decided that your goal was to, this weekend, and you wanted to go to the apple orchard. You'd make that happen, right? Mm-hmm. You'd easily make that happen. You'd talk to your husband or you'd call a friend or go by yourself, but you could make that happen. Mm-hmm. But that's like anything. If it's not an apple orchard, it may be opening a business or maybe starting a coaching program or buying a house or buying a car or losing weight. You'd make that happen, right? So how are you going to make any goal happen? Are you going to wait? Well, everybody starts their diet on Monday. Well, what's wrong with starting that diet on Friday? Then you don't have gained all that.
Because that's just crazy.
But you don't gain all that weight. So what do you do Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Well, I'm starting a diet on Monday. How much food can I put in? So now I got to lose like 3 or 4 more pounds because I gained them over the weekend before I started my diet on Monday. So I think everybody uses that as an excuse. I mean, a really good book to read is Atomic Habits by it's James something.
James Clear.
James Clear, yeah. That's a really good book to read.
Like
but really, you don't even need to read the book. Just start it.
Yeah.
Just start it.
What is it? I think it's actually like some Chinese saying that what the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today, right? Progress, not perfection. It's about getting started and getting things done. And that is just such a huge piece of what people should be doing and trying to do. So I think that that's so important, how you treat it as just an ongoing thing that's part of your life. That's just amazing. So we'll say that some of the people watching are not as good as you and not as disciplined, and there's no way we're not starting.
Wait. Don't throw that out there, because I am not perfect. There's no way I am perfect. That I have the best intentions of going to the gym, and then I just don't, and then it just spirals into, a month, and then 6 weeks, and then I'll wake up and I'm going, okay, enough is enough. I'm starting today, and I'll start. and then something happens and I don't go the next day. The problem is that I keep trying. I always keep trying. And it doesn't matter that I either failed or mistaked or however you want to look at it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who cares? You know, nobody cares. Just
I think
do
that's
it.
so important. I went to a presentation, and this is several years ago, on public speaking and recording and doing video, and they said how important video was, and I'm like, I gotta do my hair, and I've got to like put on makeup, and like, what if the lighting shows my bags at the wrong angle? And you know, we always like second guessing ourselves, right? What if I say too much? What if someone else doesn't like my voice as much as I don't like my voice, right? There's so many things that factored into it. This woman in this thing is, she's like, you just don't matter enough. Nobody else cares. They don't care. So
until you find that person that goes, yeah, you know that video you did last time? Yeah, you didn't look good. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, how can you say that to me? You know, you know what I mean? Like, really build my confidence. I mean, really.
Yeah.
So now I did in the beginning when we started doing these TV shows. I was like a mess. I'd be like, oh my God, look at me, look at me, look at me. No, I just don't care. You don't like the way I look? Then don't look at me. You don't like my voice? Then don't listen.
Yeah.
And that's a nice place to be. It's really a nice place to be. It's not that I don't care about people. I just don't care what you think of me.
Well, and it's not that you don't care. You plan the content for every episode. You come up with questions. You send those to your guests. You research your guests to find that content. You put your heart and soul into this, because I've seen it and I've been on the receiving end of some of your emails. So I know that you're doing that, right? And I know that you're putting in that effort. But yeah, you just can't care if people judge you because they're just jealous.
Well, I don't know if it's jealousy. Sometimes I think people can't handle when somebody's light is maybe a little bit brighter than theirs. And I don't think it's jealous. It's maybe a little envy. And envy's okay. Envy can make you better. Being jealous, that's not a good quality to have.
So let me ask you about the people. We'll go back to the people who don't treat their goal setting as a ongoing thing and are working to set resolutions or targets or goals for this new year. Any advice you'd give them in different parts of their life that they could maybe benefit from?
Well, we should go to money, right?
Yep,
money
I think
would
we
be
should go to money.
Money might be the first thing I would say. It's whenever you're watching this is, you know, if you can go in and increase your 401k contribution by a percentage, look at how your portfolio is allocated, make sure that it's still in line with your goals. If you're want to check your beneficiaries to make sure that they're current and up to date, so if something happens to you, the money goes to the person that you want it to. I'd reach out to someone like myself and get a plan, and they'll help you. That's my goal, to keep you on track, keep you on your goals, your money goals, and actually help people keep on track on their personal goals too. But it's just kind of, you know, maybe it's looking at your budget, maybe it's looking at the last year to say, wow, I really overspent on, you know, restaurants or dining or shoes or clothes, whatever it is that you overspent. Or maybe I didn't spend enough. You know, maybe I had no joy. Maybe I stayed home a lot and I didn't spend any money. So maybe it's adding joy back into your budget. And, you know, there's a lot of things that you can do, but the new year, actually any time of the year is a good time to kind of regroup and look at your expenses, see where your money is going and how your investments are they in line with your goals and all that fun stuff.
I remember one day my husband came home and we were looking at ways to save money and cut down on some things. And we lived pretty frugally overall. I'm saving for all my vacations I'm going to take in retirement.
I think you guys still live very frugally.
We do. We live very frugally, which has allowed us to do things. But he came home and he's like, my boss told me that they went through and took a look at their stuff and they started a budget and they're going to save I think it was $2,500 a month by cutting back on eating out. He goes, how much can we cut if we stop eating out? And I'm like, $20. It was crazy. So everything is unique to people. And I think you have to look at where you're spending your money, and look at when you're spending that you're investing, right? What are you investing in?
Let's go back to that. When
Yeah.
you talked about yours was 20, theirs was 2,500. But when you look back at that, we go back to, are you spending, you have one life.
Mm-hmm.
So are you, and doing the investing, but are you being too frugal that you're not living life? You have one life, and you got to make sure you're doing everything. You make sure you're doing things that you're passionate about, that you're joyful of it, along with the fact that you're also saving and investing. And I think sometimes, and not talking about you guys because I know you have a wonderful life, but I think some people, a lot of women go so frugally, I don't think that's even a word, but I think, you know what, my New Year's resolution should be understanding that and speaking the English language much better. Maybe I'll hook up with Lady Sarah. That was a great episode with Lady Sarah.
She's amazing.
So I think people forget there's a way to balance that, so you can have your joy and your investing all in savings, both. You can have both.
No, and I think that's important. And don't worry, we spend every penny I make, and then he's the saver. So we balance.
No, I know you have a good life. I wasn't talking about you.
Oh, no. But I think it's important to note. Now, one of the words that you said was the B word that a lot of people freak out with.
B word.
Budget.
Oh, I was like, I didn't say the B word.
Different B word. It feels like a swear word sometimes if you tell people that they need a budget. I went earlier this year to Neighborhood House, and we were talking about, with my students, they presented, which was amazing in Rochester, and they talked all about how my students, if they wanted to prepare for emergencies and things like that you had to have a budget. And 4 out of 24 students that were there had a budget. 4.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, doesn't surprise me either. So if we're starting the new year, how do you get started with a budget? Do you just put a bunch of numbers down, or do you look at last year's spending? Because a lot of the credit cards will send you statements with summaries of the categories and things like that.
Yeah, you can pretty much build a budget with your credit card statements and your bank statements, unless you're a cash user. Mm-hmm. So if you go each week and get cash, like my grandpa would get his allowance, and
I do cash.
yeah, that's a little harder to track, but you can figure out where your cash goes. You're just going to have to do it a little different. So like if you normally take $100 out a week, you're going to have to put that in. You don't know where that money's going, but you spend that. But then you just put it into your budget. So I would say download the last 12 months of your credit card statements. It categorizes it for you. It's super easy. In an Excel spreadsheet, you can figure it all out. I mean, it's really that easy. Bank statements are a little different, but you may have to print them or something just to see, like, if you wrote a check. Yes, I still write checks, but if you wrote a check, where that check went to, that kind of stuff. And there's categories, food, entertainment, housing, car, magazine subscriptions, coffee out, whatever it is that you spend, and you can come up with a number. And then the cash you're going to have to figure out, it's just going to have to be a cash line item if you spend cash. But then to figure out where your cash is going, get a little notebook, and for 30 days, every time you spent any piece of that cash, you write it down, and you'll get a better idea of where you're spending. If you can do all those things, then you'll completely understand where your money's coming from. Then you take, okay, well, I see what comes in every week. It doesn't differ, unlike my paycheck that goes like this all the time. But most people's paychecks are consistent. So I'm bringing in, $2,000 a week every 2 weeks. Or if it's $1,000 a week every 2 weeks, you know what I mean? So maybe it's $2,000, $4,000, or $20,000 a month. It doesn't matter. Every bit of that has to be accounted for. So if my monthly income was $4,000, my expenses were $2,500. Okay, then I know I have $5,500 of room. What am I going to do with that 500? And you make it accounted to something. It's just going to go to my emergency account. It's going to pay down debt. It's going to go to travel. I'm going to increase my 401k. I'm going to start a Roth. Whatever it is, you account for it. It's not a difficult thing to do, but everybody hates it.
Yeah.
Because you can build it, but then you got to track it.
That's awesome. So thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of Unstoppable. This is our last episode of the year. And I love what Paula shared with us today beyond budgeting, which again, if you're going to start anything for the new year, let's call it a budget, right? And then treat your goal setting and how you are living your life as an ongoing project, right? Look at it all the time, know where you're at, know where you're headed. I think that it's going to give you just so much more joy, right? We talked about joy. Joy will be the word of today's episode in your life, because you're going to be planning and you're going to understand where you're headed. So dream, grow, and thrive coming up here in 2026. And be sure to tune in next week for our first episode of the year.
I swear to God, you're better at this than I am.
Thanks for watching Unstoppable. Do you have a question for Paula? Send it our way. To schedule a one-on-one consultation, give us a call. Unstoppable is brought to you by Paula Swain and the Financial Center for Women. Dream, grow, thrive.